Okay, we should be good. We're going. Get up to anything fun today?
Had a friend visit from Pennsylvania, so we've been hanging out
Oh,
for
that's
most of
nice.
the day. Uh, Also got to make some purple yam jam.
Ooh, jam.
Yes, I just had it with a peanut butter sandwich. Very good, quite enjoyable. Not that difficult a recipe too. You just stir it a lot.
Hmm.
Like I actually made like a lot of it. Recipe was very generous, so I've got one container in the fridge, and then two I put into freezing just
You
to
should
keep
send
longer.
a picture. I'd like to see that.
Yes, it's extremely purple.
Yeah, it's that's the part I really want to see. I want to see how purple it ended up being. That sounds really. What does it taste like?
I mean, if I had to describe it, it's like, I mean, it's a yam. It's a sweet
Mm.
yam. So
Mm.
kind of think of, I know it's sweet yam that you boil, mash, then you add in some condensed and evaporated milk and some brown sugar. So just think of like it's got that distinctly yammy taste, but a lot sweeter.
Hmm.
The consistency is actually really nice.
So you
It's
didn't have to strain any of the fiber or anything out?
no, I mean, I boiled it. I removed the skin and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but um, I know the recipe said you could either mash it by hand or like use like a cheese grater if you want
Mm-hmm.
to be a little more complicated and get rid of more of the fibers, but I haven't really encountered any of the fibers so far. Tastes really good too.
That sounds pretty
I'm quite
good.
the fan.
That sounds very good. Homemade jam. You'd think that'd be a lot more complicated to do, but apparently not.
Yeah, like I said, well, I mean, the hardest part is just having to stir it for like 30 minutes so it doesn't burn and like thickens
Mm-hmm.
up. But
There's a lot
besides
of
that,
recipes like that, though.
can you boil potatoes? Then there you go. You're
Hmm.
halfway there.
That's pretty cool. I made
The
those.
hardest part was actually probably drinking all of the potato water. No, you usually pour that out. The recipe said you had to drink it. You couldn't get rid of it.
You had to drink it or else it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I mean, it turned out good, so I guess it worked.
Might be taking frequent pee breaks, though.
Why is that?
Well, because you drank all that potato water.
Huh? Well, no, no. You boil off the water and then just drink the starch.
Oh, so did you? What? What do you mean drink the starch?
I'm joking. I didn't drink any of the water.
Well, I know, but I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from with that. Because if you were to
Oh,
boil off all the water, then it would just be like a paste left, right?
then you drink that.
That'd be eating, Cooper. It has to be liquid to drink.
Is it eating if it's a paste? You can almost drink
Yeah,
a paste.
yeah. Like if a kid eats glue, glue's a paste. You say they eat glue, you're not drinking it.
At what point? At what viscosity does a drink become a food? All this and more on our food podcast. Two scoops.
The audio refrigerator, or wait, this is a car themed music podcast, a music themed food podcast. So,
And a food themed car podcast.
yeah.
Finally, the trifecta is complete.
But yeah, I made those onigiri. I gotta
They
look
looked
up.
good.
Gotta look up how to
Eat them.
No, I know how to eat them.
Okay.
I gotta look up how to put stuff in them because I
Oh, there's
tried.
nothing in there yet. So it's just rice.
Well, the one of them, because I sent you that picture. One of them, the one on the left had stuff in it, but it was really not good. Um,
Well, like it didn't taste good.
no, it tasted fine. It just kind of it wasn't staying together as well.
Hmm. That makes sense.
But the one on the right was just rice, and that one I felt that one was like picture perfect.
Well, even if they don't always turn out picturesque, doesn't mean they're not worth making or eating. As long as they taste good, is what I say.
But I managed to get some Japanese mayo and
Ooh, nice.
sriracha to make some spicy Japanese mayo.
Sounds pretty
Uh,
good.
The first time I tried it, I completely just misread the instructions, and I thought it was 1-to-1, but it's 1-to-1/3. Because it was more of sriracha with mayonnaise in it as opposed to spicy mayo.
I say it probably came out a little strong.
Well, no, it wasn't that strong. It was fine. I just mixed it because I bought some tuna to go with the onigiri, so I just mixed it all together. And I was like, that works good enough. Spicy tuna.
You adjusted the recipe. You didn't make a mistake.
Yeah, but I need to try it again. But I think it went really well. It tasted pretty good. Make a couple of them, I think. See how they hold up after a little while.
Man, I can't imagine they last super long if it's rice and fish.
Well, no, I'm thinking if it's, tuna lasts a while.
When mixed with mayonnaise?
Yeah, in the fridge.
Probably maybe a week.
Yeah, well, that's all I needed to last. But yeah, we'll see. It's a little bit of effort, especially rinsing the rice. That took forever. And then I made it with a weird double boiler setup in my pressure cooker, which it was a little bit fiddly, but it's probably easier than doing it on the stove. Dear Lord, doing it on the stove seems like a nightmare.
What, with the double boiler?
Well, I don't have a double boiler.
I usually just like kind of MacGyver up just like a bigger pot with a smaller pot, just rest on top. At least whenever I'm making chocolate, melted chocolate.
If I'm ever melting chocolate, I just do one pot and I just stand there the whole time and stir it.
No, I always double boil so it doesn't burn.
Low and slow is what I do.
I can do it fast and slow, or fast and high.
That's a terrible, terrible way to do it.
It turns out good in double boiler.
I guess if it works, whatever works. I didn't really do anything else today. Made some dinner. Some chicken tikka masala.
Ooh, tikka masala is pretty good. It's been a while since I made that.
Haven't eaten it yet. A little hungry.
You want to eat it now?
Yeah, let me go make some rice. No.
Just like right into the mic.
Well, I gotta make some rice first, and it's cooling off a little bit in the pot. Because I made it in the Instapot. It has been, I gotta say, it's been a long time since I've used the Instapot for Instapot recipes. Because most of that book I have, my sister got me, has mostly slow cooker, or at least the ones I really like are slow cooker. So it'll be like, 8 to 10 hours before something's done. So I really got to plan ahead. This time, I always check it first thing in the morning. And I said, pressure cook for 12 minutes. I'm like, I got the whole damn day. I can do that whenever I feel like.
I'm unstoppable.
Pressure cooking is amazing.
Yeah.
It's so fast. Technology.
Pressure and temperature are related. Who knew?
Yeah. It's almost like PV equals nRT or something.
Actually, that's false.
Well, in an
PV is equal to radius. You learn that in chemistry.
It's equal to radius?
Yes. So the bigger the circle is, the hotter it gets.
Is that why the sun's so hot?
Yeah. You figured it out, see?
Oh my god, I can't believe I never saw it.
Ever notice that really big fires are really hot? Come on.
Oh, okay. I think I get it. Well, with that bombshell, you want to get started?
Yes. Let's jump into it.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop Podcast. This week, we listened to the Juniper Songbook by Somersault. This was an album that Cooper has been listening to that he recommended we do. Mm-hmm. Nice little, and I will say they live up. It's very summery.
Yeah, it's they're a band I've been following for a while. Kind of grown up big in the indie scene. They're officially known as a trop pop duo, like tropical pop. Um, Composed of singer guitarist Matthew Terry and drummer Eugene Chung. Um, they were originally a three-man outfit with a bassist, but he was kicked out of the band a few years back. Um, so this album's kind of basically like a recreation of some of their earlier work when he was still in the band, I guess, to kind of re-put it under just their new duo label. And it was kind of released shortly. It was released just this Friday. And kind of follow up to their newest album, Sequoia Moon. So this is kind of a look back to their earlier discography and kind of a more stripped down, recreated version of it.
Okay. I didn't realize it was just two guys.
Yeah. They're the main, just the guitarist and the drummer. I'm not sure how many credits they have on the production of this album, but those are the main duo. And I've been quite a fan ever since their Driving to Hawaii EP back in 2014.
Yeah, they're, I got to say, this was refreshing. And I wasn't really sure what to expect going into it. Because your recommendations are either, they're kind of all over the place. Because like last time it was Japanese electro. You like your rap. You like your genres.
If it's good suggestions, you use the term eclectic. If it's bad, you call him a weirdo.
Of course you're a weirdo. Look at your hat.
I fit. I don't fit in. I don't want to fit. Yeah. So this is but hopefully this is something you enjoyed. I didn't really tell you anything about it besides we should review it. So
no, and I kind of like that. I liked the not knowing. Like, well, let's see what we're gonna get. And because these are kind of remakes, is that why everything's titled Juniper version?
Exactly.
Okay. I was wondering
because
about that.
They have their original versions, which the production's a little more, I guess, in depth. This one's a little more stripped back, but they all keep to the spirit of the original songs, of course. Yeah, so it's also a bit unique in being a reimagining of their kind of earlier discography. So if you're ready, Sam, we can jump right into it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. To track number 1.
Revvin, my CJ7. And all of these have Juniper version, except for a couple of them.
No, everyone because they don't all say Juniper version, Cooper, you got to say that every time.
I have to say, Revvin, my CJ7 - Juniper version.
I mean, we're not talking about Spider-Man here. You don't have to include the hyphen.
Spider-Man. Yeah, but I mean, the first couple seconds of the song, I think, kind of sum up the album as a whole. Very acoustic heavy and very sweet vocal heavy.
Mm-hmm. It has a very intimate composition feeling. Kind of like that sitting on a stool alone under a spotlight holding a guitar. Excuse me, kind of thing.
Yes, it's a extremely intimate album, which they do quite intentionally. At least when they were describing this album in particular, they kind of want to go for the intimacy setting, like you're just in a room with a couple people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely got that vibe. I will say the big thing that popped out to me in this, the vocals are mixed really high in the mix, which was kind of off-putting for me for the first couple seconds before it just really clicked in. But what really blew me was it feels really close, like they're sitting close to you. And usually how artists accomplish that, as we talk about a lot, is they put the microphone in their mouth and you can hear every little mouth sound that they make. But they make it sound close without the mouth on. Somebody finally figured it out, and I like it. This is what close should sound like. It's almost uncomfortable, but it's not.
Oh, and that's a positive.
Yeah. Because usually what they do is, they just stick the mouth the mic in the person's mouth, and you can hear all the slapping.
Yeah, this kind of keeps the intimacy and the quietness in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without, like you said, sacrificing the fact that someone's making mouth sounds in in your ears. But yeah, I mean I mean, I know you haven't listened to their other stuff, but I have. So it's kind of interesting to these where they're very stripped back to, for the most part, like some songs don't even have percussion, or
Mm-hmm.
all the percussion's like light snapping or very light backing, where the focus is very much on the vocals and the acoustic.
Yeah, and I honestly wasn't sure how I would feel about it with that. The opening is there's nothing, there's no instruments, but it really does not feel empty. The reverb helps. They have like 17 layers of snapping or something. Like somehow that all just those elements together help it feel a little bit more full. Of course, I mean you're not big band, but it's more of a, you're sitting by the fireside and somebody's playing their guitar, as opposed to somebody sitting alone in a mega studio playing their guitar.
Yeah, it's mixed to its strengths.
Yeah,
I think it's the best way to put it. It knows it's its intimate song, so it's mixed in such a way to kind of make the most of that.
Jump into track number 2 if you're ready, Coop.
Yes, track number 2, Clover - Juniper version.
Thank you. We wouldn't want to confuse this with just Clover.
That is another one of their songs. Yeah, this one obviously still has the acoustic and vocal bass, but it starts to introduce a little bit more light percussion and a little bit of backing electric guitar. A little more energetic than the first song.
Yeah, I really like that guitar effect they have going on. I don't know how to describe it. It's it's almost like the Wurlitzer effect with the rotating speaker. But it just feels very old school. It is only in the right ear, but they kind of balance it out, so it's not really bad at all.
No, totally. They're very much going for a captured, like I said, a tropical vibe, which kind of carries out the sound with this extremely easygoing sensation. With the kind of accompanied with this, it's mellow but almost nostalgic in a way. Like like a little bit of bittersweet in there, a little bit of dark chocolate.
Yeah. And they accomplish that. I'd not seen this done before. They have a drum set, but it's mixed pretty low to keep it laid back. But they're still doing harder hits, because usually when you want to have a quiet drum set, you just get the very light cymbal tapping, and you get a snare brush. But this one, they're doing the full, they're playing the drum set pretty hard, but it's mixed really far down, so it still feels laid back, which I thought was a really cool effect.
Yeah, no, so it adds to, like, obviously the drums aren't like, pulling themselves back, but it's not like jarring. Because having just full on drums in a song like this, where they be like forward in the mix, would kind of jolt you out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, like you would say in rock music, in the tags that we can't fix.
Yes.
Can't change those tags.
This is rocking like the lightest way. Definitely not, dance music, at least not in the traditional sense.
Oh, God, man.
Definitely not electric.
Not being able to change those upsets me a lot. I really, that's going to drive me crazy.
We're lying to our audience.
I know. And there's that fun little guitar solo around 125, which hangs onto that laid back vibe. That was really nice. The solos in this album are great. I'm going to talk about them every time they come up.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, they're definitely like the epitome of like making a lot with a little. It's not like these solos are like ripping, but they, kind of take the structure that's already been established and elaborate on it very, very laterally, but in maintaining that vibe nicely. Breathing room.
But still very laid back.
Yes.
Jump into track number 3 if you're ready, Coop.
Yes, track number 3, Driving to Hawaii, Juniper version.
You forgot the hyphen.
I have to do this 7 more times. I don't want to have the hyphen every time. Comedy comes in threes.
But in this one, the bass starts to come up a little bit. There's kind of an ever-present bass in this one that acts as a supporting platform for the airy vocals and dreamy guitar. And it has softer drums mixed higher in this one, whereas the last one was hard drums mixed low. This one is more of what I was talking about before with the soft tapping and the. I don't think there's any snare broom. What's the fuck? What is that called?
Snare brush.
Snare brush. Thank you. In this one, that it pops up later.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's fretted guitar, maybe. I'm not sure if that's the correct term there. But that kind of paired with a very steady melodical drum beat, or methodical drum beat behind it. It's got a very almost lazy river vibe, like you're just drifting downstream.
Yeah, and then again, very good song, very different feel. I have a bit of a complaint in this one. There's build-ups in the previous song, which we didn't really talk about, and there's quite a few of them. I would say like 5 or 6, where it starts low and the drums and everything beats up and it kind of breaks a bit and they keep going. And they do that twice in this, which it would have been nice to have something a little bit different since we already had a lot of that in the previous song, but in their defense, they only do it twice. So I think it's forgivable, but it was just like really back to back.
Yeah. The song works better in their original version. Quite honestly, because there's a little more of an energetic song. They still, none of their songs are like super good at driving, obviously. But this one, they really ratcheted down the energy.
I think it works.
Oh no, it's definitely still a good song. It just even brings the energy a lot more steady and lower. No, of course that matches very well with Matthew's vocals.
Yeah,
they're almost falsetto, very wistful and sweet.
Absolutely, almost falsetto. Definitely falsetto, Cooper.
Well, there's sometimes he goes more falsetto than others.
Yeah, you don't have to be singing super high to be falsetto.
That's true.
Jumping to the next track, if you're ready.
Track number 4. Track number 4, 17 hyphen Juniper version.
That's
DC hyphen's third one.
A little confusing. But yeah, now we got that 2-1 tap in the drums, which apparently I like when it's in drums, and I hate it when it's clapping.
But but drums are supposed to be like that.
I know, but I was like, oh yeah, I'm digging this drum beat. Wait, that's a 2-1 tap. Why do I like it?
Because it's done tastefully. Because clapping is just your hands slapping together. The mouth sounds of the body.
Sure. Isn't that just mouth sounds?
Yeah, okay. But no, this one has some nice guitar picking as well as some a little bit of electric guitar underneath it. Reminds me a bit of like ever so vaguely of like the SpongeBob music. It's like a very kind of islandy electric guitar.
Oh yeah, almost ukulele like.
Yes, exactly.
This one I kind of got lost in it. It drew me back in, and the kind of last minute. And the only reason it drew me back in was because they did kind of a style change, and I was like, "Wait, hold on." I liked what you were doing before. Go back to that. But it's a 4-minute song, or like 4.5, right, on a 30-minute album. So you kind of have to shake things up to keep it from getting samey, which fair enough.
Yeah, it does that at the 120 mark. It's got this like distorted and like kind of dreamy guitar break that really like carries the vibe of the song before going back into the verse, which is a little more low key.
Yeah, no, it's a very. All these songs are so relaxed, and I have something I wrote about it later, but they're just easy to zone out on, and there was a nice hard cut at the end too. I like that.
Yeah, no, this one has a bit of an extended outro, but then it ends. Which especially on a type of songs like these, it'd be, I think, very easy to just like fade it out, which they actually don't do that often on this album.
It's rare that a style ending style choice is picked that fits really or just feels good for a song, right? Because it used to be everything faded out, and now sometimes things continue on, or they reach the end. This one felt like a cut. Like they're all right, we're done here, and then that was that. and it just felt good. Jump to track number 5 if you're ready, Coop.
Yeah, it's track number 5. Oh Dear, Juniper version. I wrote here in my notes another mellow song, but I feel like that's going to be redundant.
Yeah, would you mind pointing out to me which one wasn't mellow?
There's none of them. Spoiler alert, they're all mellow. We're not going to have a number 6 isn't going to be rocking. Yeah. But this one does incorporate some piano elements.
Yes. That
are quite nice.
I was honestly surprised when it came in. I'm like, wait, crap! It feels like it should have been there the whole time, you know. And like, oh, it fits in so well. And like, wait, did they have piano before now? Am I going crazy?
No, this is the first song that has it.
Yeah.
Unless it's like really buried in the mix in the last songs. But I never noticed it. This one it's not front and center, but it's nice accompaniment, especially with the acoustic guitar riff going on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And this song, I think he's especially falsetto.
Yeah. It made it a bit hard for me to pick up on instruments a bit. This is the one I think there's either snare brush or some light shakers in the right ear. I couldn't pick it out, and I wasn't motivated enough to roll it back to try again. So, but this is a short one. It's like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's second shortest on the album.
But they really packed a lot of songs in there for a half hour album.
Yeah. I mean, there's 10 songs, average runtime's like a little over 3 minutes.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, so none of the songs feel like incomplete. I feel like they get their idea out there and then they're off, which I appreciate.
I would also argue that I don't think any of them stick around for too long, which is nice.
I think especially it works on an album where all the songs carry a similar vibe, right? So it would be redundant to have super long songs that then carry over into songs that sound somewhat similar.
Yeah, they did a very good job at preventing the album from sounding samey.
Which I think is probably part of that balance is the fact that, this are songs that they've written over like the last 7 years. But then they've kind of been re-recorded to sound more similar. So it's kind of that tug and pull, right? Like they should sound different because they wrote them over a long period of time. But also they redid them at the same time. So
redid them with similar instrumentation.
Exactly. Speaking of which, going into track number 7.
6.
Sorry, track number 6. Hideaway.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
I was thrown off by the fact this one doesn't have a Juniper version.
You just straight up ignored it.
Yes. No. This one actually, I think, is the original song of the album, or one of 2 original songs on the album.
But it brings that piano back in, which just meshes so well with the style. And this one has a very different vocal styling as well. I would argue it's even higher falsetto, but it's really far back in the mix. So it's kind of ethereal almost.
Yes. Ethereal and a little sad.
Yeah. And very hard to discern.
Just has that
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that has to do with the chorus having kind of those stacked vocals that kind of extend outward. Like, they're kind of getting hazier as they get stacked. I'm sure there's a proper term for that, but...
Stacked vocals.
Oh, yeah, but like the way they kind of like become like more ethereal. It's like you can tell as the sax go on. Like an after trail or something.
It does make it quite hard to understand what's being said, but... I think this one's more about whereas previous songs have been about the content. I guess, front and center, you want to focus on the vocals. This one is treating the vocalist much more as an instrument.
Yes. And I mean, the lyrics themselves are more about carrying the vibe. About sweet love or, just trying to get away and have a good time.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like any of them were particularly gibberishy.
No. I mean, he's vocalizing clearly. And obviously the vocals was like so stripped back to instrumentation.
Mm-hmm.
The vocals are naturally going to be front and center. Uh, so I think they straddle that line well.
Want to jump to number 7 now? I didn't have much for this one, honestly.
It's a good song, but track number 7, Candy Wrappers. Juniper version.
Thank you. Make sure you get that in there.
Yes.
This one was interesting. It had a bit more going on at the start. But this whole album, I feel like each song has built up a little bit more, a little bit thicker than the previous, because we start with basically nothing. We got a guitar, vocals, snapping. That's it in the first song. And then around the 1 minute mark in this one, everything drops out. And you're like, oh, wow, actually there was a lot more going on than I realized before it dropped out. And it helps give it some depth.
Yeah, for songs that are basically were made independent of each other, they work very well as a full album experience.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this one's maybe a little more pop and trop pop.
Yeah.
Or especially that chorus is a little more, that candy, 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 candy wrapper, hook going on. Which I think is cute.
Yeah, and I really like the harmonies on this one. The lead is the highest, and then everything else kind of stacks below it, and it creates a really nice effect that's pleasing to the ears.
I think pleasing to the ear is the whole vibe of this album for the most part.
Yeah. But something about those harmonies in particular.
It goes down smooth, like eating a marble.
Yeah. But remember, don't eat larger marbles because they'll be too hot.
Actually, don't eat marbles. Here at Irish Shop does not endorse eating non-edible food. I mean, non-edible things.
Wait, marbles are food? I knew it. And going back to candy wrappers, something about this one reminded me quite a bit of Jack Johnson for some reason. I don't know if it's the guitar or something about the vocals, but I really got that vibe from this one. You ever listen to any Jack Johnson?
I can't recall listening to him. If you played him a song of his, maybe I'd recognize it, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Famous for doing the soundtrack to the Curious George movie.
I never actually saw that one.
That probably came out in like 2005. I don't remember.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
And I would have been the right age group, but...
Oh, I was close. It was 2006.
Okay. I was close.
Why do I remember that? But anyway, Jack Johnson, very kind of similar style, just acoustic guitar and light singing. But I would, if you get a chance, Cooper, listen to this song and then listen to maybe, I'll have to look, one of his songs.
Watch Curious George.
Yeah, just watch Curious George. But it feels very similar, which is not a bad thing at all.
No, it's a nice little trap pop song.
Mm-hmm. Jump into track number
if you're ready,
8.
Yes, track number 8. One Last Time, Juniper version. Which one? I feel like this one's goes a little throwback vibes, a little more old school. Especially with the backing ooh la las in the back.
Mm-hmm. But this is where I started having some issues writing. Just because I didn't want to write. I just wanted to. It's like, man, this makes you want to sit back and relax, and they give off a feeling of you're not supposed to be thinking. You're just supposed to be there, right?
Yes. So reviewing it is almost counterproductive to the ethos of this album.
It makes it. This was a hard one to do, honestly, because it was like I would try to focus and nitpick, but it's like sitting next to an open window in summer. If it's a really nice day outside, you're not. How are you going to get any work done, right?
Yeah, you want to daydream.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to think. You just want to be there. And man, this one was hard to write during, in particular.
Well, it's the longest song of the album, a little under 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it makes good use of that length because
it
kind of stretches itself out, and it leaves plenty of room to breathe.
Yeah,
especially in the back half.
We get a really nice long solo at the end of this one. which was much appreciated. It was really nice.
It's also got some of those sad boy bittersweet vibes. But still kind of maintains that wistful nostalgic realm. I also like that part at the 2-minute mark where he kind of vocalizes the most aggressively he has on the entire album, where it kind of like really goes high up. Like he's being whisked away into the sky. like a claw grab to me. Oh! That's what I like to visualize anyways.
That wasn't what I was picturing during that, but more like he's kite surfing and the wind gust and there he goes.
Same difference.
Yeah.
It's also got a bit of keyboard that bolsters the guitar solo on the back end, which I quite like.
Yeah.
So technically it's electro.
No, that's not how that works. Just any excuse that we can make.
Any keyboard can access any song automatically.
Twitch interface. Oh. Ready to jump to next track, Coop?
Yes, track number 9, One Cup of Coffee, which I think is the other original song on this album.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm really not a huge fan of his lower singing register here with the stripped back instrumentals.
Yeah, it's not quite as sweet, but I also think the instrumentation I'm not as big on either. It's kind of sock copy, corny, maybe.
I think it
for some reason.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say for some reason I'm not sure if you got this. The song kind of reminded me of Feliz Navidad.
I did not get that at all.
I think it was the acoustic guitar backing. Like the guitar line was, at least to me, eerily similar to Feliz Navidad.
I was thinking.
Not that that's a bad song. It's just I don't. That's not a song you really want to. It's very specific to Christmas.
Right. I got the feeling it was kind of more of free YouTube background music kind of thing. Those libraries of royalty free music you can get.
Yes.
It kind of gave me that vibe. I think it was the strip back combined with the lower. If they had just made it a little bit more dense, I think they could have gotten away with the lower register singing. Because, he doesn't have a bad voice. It just doesn't... What they did here doesn't really work.
Yeah, that kind of paired with the acoustic guitar. I don't really care so much for the energy on this song. Quite honestly.
And apparently I hate the 2-1 tap and tambourine. Drums, it's okay. Tambourine, no.
Tambourine is a bridge too far.
Bridge too far. Although that solo was nice. I did like the solo.
Yeah, it was a fine acoustic solo. It's not like this song is anything offensive.
No. Left me wanting a instrumental track, though. It's
I'm not even really big on the instruments on this song either, quite honestly.
Well, not this. I'm not saying this one in particular, but a instrumental track from them. I was like, I feel like that'd be a good way to maybe close it out.
Man, I completely agree.
Speaking of closing it out, I might be losing my voice here. Jumping to track number 10.
Track number 10, Fireflower, Juniper version. Which is the final song of the album.
And there's no titular track. Because everything's Juniper version.
Well, 8 of the songs are titular.
But no, nothing says the Juniper Songbook. It just says Juniper version.
Okay, but it's in the Juniper Songbook. So it's title adjacent.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. This one's got some more great harmonies in it. The higher voices seem higher in the mix, but I'm not sure if it's just because they're all mixed to the same level. And the higher ones just seem naturally louder and stick out a bit. But there's one lower voice that seems louder as well. So I'm wondering if it was like a U mix where the middle is low and both ends are higher.
I think it works very well.
Yeah, no,
I really dig the vocal harmonies on this song. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, but it's a very stacked vocal song. But it's the big focus of the song. Acoustic and vocals is basically this album.
Yeah.
Not to say there's other instrumentation that is in there, but those are the big focuses.
And we get that snare brush. We definitely get snare brush on this one.
Yes.
Which I can't believe they didn't bring it in until now. Because they almost have that kind of smooth jazz feel going on at some points. because they have similar instrumentation. Lyrically, none whatsoever, or vocally rather, but instrumentally, they definitely tap into that a couple of spots.
Yeah, there's certainly a bossa nova like sentimentality underlying everything. Like bossa nova done through like a indie American band.
Yeah. And this one ends with the very stripped back instrumental as well, with just some light vocals, and I thought that was nice to end it the same way that they began. Not quite wrapping all the way back around like The Wall, but emotionally.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's no the through line of this album is the vibe.
Yeah,
is the instrumentation being fairly consistent throughout all the songs. In some albums that's a detriment. It can get samey or depending on the genre, it can get a little exhausting. But this such an easy listening album that it really actually plays to. It kind of makes it a strength as opposed to a weakness.
I think what you're talking about before, Coop, with them having written these songs previously in a different style and then kind of converting them to this. I think if they had written all of the songs in this laid back, stripped down style, it would not have worked. But because these are all old songs that they had already done, maybe in a different genre even, and bringing it to this, I think it all worked quite well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's smart of taking songs that are maybe had more filled out instrumentation, kind of stripping them back. You can kind of really control the levers of how much you want to include in your instrumentation. And that is the full album.
That's the album. It's a short one, like what, 35, 36 minutes?
Just about 35 minutes. Yeah. 10 songs. Doesn't overstay its welcome.
Not at all. So, Cooper.
Yes.
What is your least favorite song? Because I
think that's a pretty.
We're gonna agree.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy one for me. It's One Cup of Coffee.
Yeah.
I wasn't a super big fan of either of their new songs on this album, which fair enough. That wasn't really the point of this album in any ways. But One Cup of Coffee just kind of stuck out like a sore thumb for me. I didn't really quite like the kind of direction it went, and like you said, the lower vocals I don't think paired so well with the instrumentation. There's the only point of real dissonance on the album for me. I'd have to say that. I'm assuming you're in agreement.
Yeah. It's just kind of awkward. It's got that free background music kind of vibe going on. It's stripped back, but not in a good way. I don't know. It just didn't fit. It was the odd one out.
In my if I had to guess, it's a little extra that they added on an album that's mostly previous songs, right? So it's kind of like a little B-side bonus. That maybe was a little undercooked since it is the shortest song in the album. So it's more of if we don't throw it in here, we're not going to use it anywhere.
Right.
In my mind, at least.
Yeah, that sounds right, but it's hard to say.
It's speculation, but that's kind of my thought process on it.
Yeah.
Well, and Sam, in that case, what is your favorite song?
Favorite song? I think I'm going to have to say my favorite song is Candy Wrapper's Juniper version.
Okay.
It's fun. It's got some really nice harmonies, which I am a sucker for good harmonies, so that's completely what got me in. And it's just overall very pleasant. And I think the Jack Johnson thing helped me a bit.
Helped you emotionally connect to it.
Yeah. What about you, Coop?
I'm a very Candy Wrap's a good song. I also very much like 17. I think it made the most of its guitar in that one, and I also was a big fan of One Last Time. Longest song of the album, I think, really gave it space to breathe and was a really good song.
Yeah, both very good picks.
I think this whole album's fairly strong altogether.
Oh yeah. yeah, the highlights just stick out just a little bit more than the rest.
Yeah, but I think that comes down mostly to personal preference as opposed to like this is objectively better, as maybe in some of our previous choices are. Like previous albums, some songs are like, okay, this is the ones that obviously had the most time in the oven, and these were the throwaway ones. But with I guess the perk of these being songs that were already written, right? They can just choose their strongest songs and then kind of rewrite them anyways.
Mm-hmm. So you want to get on with the review, the final rating?
Yes, I am ready for that. So,
do you want to do it? You want me to do it since Matt did it last time?
No, I'll take it.
All right, go for it.
Here at the audio shop, Sam was actually the inventor of the automobile.
Mm-hmm.
He actually went back in time, broke into Henry Ford's office in a cold sweat, and started talking about wheels and cars. And he was quickly escorted off the premises. But it gave Henry that initial idea, and then he did all the actual work. So, of course, due to those shenanigans, we are now compelled to make every music review somehow car-related. It is our curse and our burden.
I assert that the bastard stole it from me. I did not give it to him.
Despite your fact breaking into his office specifically to tell him about it.
I didn't break into his office to tell him about that. I was trying to prevent him from stealing it, but he hadn't stolen it yet. So anyway, keep going.
Well, don't get Sam started on this. Very emotional. But at the tip top, we have Sugar, which is the cream of the crop. This is the best stuff you've ever heard, and you want to show it to everyone that you like. And not show it to the people you don't like. Maybe show it to them, because it's that good. And then all the way at the bottom, you have Scrapyard, which is the bottom of the barrel. Ooh, yeah, keep it away from me. Just songs that you never want to listen to again, much less have even listened to them in the first place. And then in between, we'll give it like a like new, fixer-upper, used rental, high or low, kind of depending on our mood. So with that out of the way, Sam, what is your rating for this album?
You almost said favorite.
I almost asked you your favorite song. My brain kind of...
I could hear it. I could hear those gears turning over in your head. I think I'm gonna have to give this a like new. It's very light, very airy. Perfect for summer and spring coming up. Makes me long for the warm weather. It's not something that you're gonna remember, but in a good way. If you get what I mean, you're gonna be thinking about it. You're just gonna zone out. Because it's that relaxing. Maybe it'll help you take a nap. I don't know. But I definitely think it's worth a listen. Especially maybe on like a nice 75-degree day. Maybe if you're sitting at a beach. It's just it's got that very relaxing vibe to it. What about you, Coop?
I'm in agreement. I'm also going to give it a like new. Something super revolutionary. Obviously, Guy and acoustic guitar isn't, exactly an unexplored genre.
No.
But I think it takes it to its, they're very well versed in it, and they play to its strengths throughout this album. There's a couple songs on these where I kind of like the original version better, but for the most part, I think all of them are very good, kind of stripped down renditions of their past works. And I think it shows, how kind of unified their vision for this album is that it flows so good together. Like you said, it's not something that's like, super, sing along to or, in your face, but that's kind of by design. So definitely recommend anyone who's looking for an easy listen, something to chill and relax to. I'd more than recommend this album.
Well, that's the review of the Juniper Songbook by Somersault.
Somersault.
It's
somersault. Get it, Sam? Like somersaulting?
Oh, yeah, I get it now.
You get it?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna roll. Yeah. Triple pun there. On over to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to this week. And I've just been doing this. I've got nothing new to report. I'll put it that way. It's been Yellow Magic Orchestra and Electric Light Orchestra for me.
you're like your orchestras.
I do.
That aren't orchestras at all.
Been listening to my workout playlist as well, which doubles as my hot girl summer playlist. So. What about you? You've been listening to anything besides this?
Yeah, well, I also listened to Somersault's new album that was actually released like 6 months ago, but which was also very good. As well, also listened to the new Conway the Machine album. He's a hip hop artist, and I quite enjoyed his rapping on this album. Also listened to the new Rick's Orange County album.
Oh, there's no one.
Who cares? Yes, it was quite nice. I mean, he's always good, easy listening as well. So I quite enjoyed his album too. Very much fit the mood of the Somersault kind of easy listening vibe. You know what I mean? Beyond that, not too much beyond that. I've been taking it pretty easy. Yeah, definitely recommend checking those two albums out if they tickle your fancy.
Yeah, I have to look at them. Maybe I'm just gonna be listening to more Yellow Magic Orchestra. Probably those songs stick in my head. They really do not leave.
They're good songs.
But anyway, thank you all so much for listening. If you've liked what you heard and you're on the Twitch, you can scroll down and then underneath in the description there's a picture of Jeff Lynne. He's the guy with curly hair and the aviators. That'll take you to YouTube, where all the past episodes, minus the one Supertramp episode that didn't get uploaded, reside. And if you're on YouTube and you want to hear some more live, you can come on over to our Twitch, which is in the video description. Just like, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation. I apologize already. Caxips. You think that's right, Cooper? Are you in the chat?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Kaxips.
06.
One of those, maybe. And then Pronto Swarm.
At that one, I think you got it.
which is just Matt. But yeah, you can come chat with us. And what about the Twitter, Cooper?
Yeah, if you want to see what we're going to be reviewing, follow us at Audio Shop Pod. That's POD at Twitter. We'll let you know what we're going to listen to and when we're actually going to do shows.
Yeah, and we're should say usually live at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we just had daylight savings time, so I was almost
reset
late.
Your clocks.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to go to bed tonight, and I'll tell you that already. It feels like it should be 8 because it should be.
Well, yesterday it was.
Yes.
So.
But anyway,
such is the beauty of adjusting time for farmers.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when it hit 7, I'm like, why does it feel so early? Why is the sun still up? Anyway, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See ya. If I